guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Banter podcast. Joining me on the bench today is Ashwin,
Hi guys.
and I, for one, am extremely sleep deprived because my sleep cycle has been completely messed up the last 2 nights, but there are absolutely no regrets. How about
Happily,
you?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, totally. I mean, what a 2 nights of Champions League football we've had. I mean, absolutely brilliant games. Going into the games, I was expecting good games, no doubt about it. But none of the games I was expecting it to be so amazing. End to end stuff. It was completely brilliant, and the best part is none of it is decided yet. So I mean, it was superb, and like you said, a lot of sleep deprivation. But I'm good with that. If I'm not sleeping for to watch games like that I'm glad. I'm happy. It's that way.
Exactly, and going into all four of these games, right? Like you said, none of the ties have been decided as yet. Next week is going to be a lot more exciting because nothing has been decided.
Yeah.
If anything, now it's all the more 50-50. This first leg
Yeah.
has given us that. And on the first day there were two on the first night there were two games,
Oof,
both ended in draws. And on the second
unbelievable
night
game.
there were two games, both ended by a one goal margin. So even though there is a one goal margin there and it was just a draw here, we still have absolutely no idea how the second leg is going to pan out,
Yeah.
right?
True.
And I was, like you said, staying up to watch these kind of football matches is everything, right? This is what any football,
Absolutely.
as a neutral, as a supporter of a particular club, this is what you dream of, and that's exactly what we got. All four
Absolutely.
matches, yeah, didn't fail to impress. So I thought get started with the first game, City versus Madrid. This was supposed to
Yeah.
be the Champions League finals,
Oh my
but it
god! And it was played like the Champions League finals as well. Like what a game! Absolutely brilliant game. I mean, when I saw the lineup initially, I was like, why no KDB? And then, of course, he turned out to be ill at the last moment or whatever it is. But when I saw the lineup, I was pretty sure that, Guardiola came in there wanting this exact thing. Maybe not 3-3, or maybe not that period where Madrid were dominating for such a long, that first half. But Guardiola came there and he got exactly what he wanted. And if I were Madrid, I would slightly be disappointed with the result at the end of the day, because if you saw that first half, they were absolutely on it right from the word go. Apart from that one Bernardo Silva goal, of course, those kind of goals you really can't do much, right? Of course, the goalkeeper should have done better and all of those things, but it's not something you tactically concede, right? It's just one of those things. But right from then on, they played the perfect game for the first 20-30 minutes. They were right on top. They scored two goals. Of course, even their first goal was a deflected shot, but the second goal was well worked. Exactly where you City were feeling the lack of Walker or Ake was exactly where they exploited it as well. And at 2-1, I was thinking, Guardiola was still very calm, and I like the moment I saw it, I knew, because this have seen so many times when back in his Barca times, back in his Bayern times. And my brother is a big Madrid fan. Okay, so at that point, he was very happy. He was like, "Yeah, we are dominating with this thing." And in my mind, I'm just like, "Dude, I've seen this same story a million times. Like, you can't explain it. Tactically, you cannot explain it. I cannot go out and say, you know what, this is what Guardiola wanted. He wanted to concede two goals. No, that's not the case. But the what he was trying to do, just maintain control, stay in the game. This is exactly what he did last year. Also, this is exactly what he tried to do the year before. Also, and coming to that away goal scrap, let's get to that. But that whole away goal rule has made it very imperative for the away team in the first leg to just stay in the tie. And City are masters of controlling the game and just playing at their tempo. And apart from that first 20-30 minutes, I think City were absolutely superb throughout the game. They managed it beautifully. And Madrid, that's what I was telling my brother also. Like, Madrid should have scored more when they were in the ascendancy. They should have done a lot. They should have tried a little bit harder, because if they were taking back a 2 goal cushion or a 3 goal cushion or even a 1 goal cushion, that psychological thing would be there, right? But now you're going back to the scene of that demolition 1 year ago. You have that in your mind. And the best part is he managed to rest KDB. Walker was not there. Ake was not there. Edison was not there. So, And you might say, okay, what's the big deal? It's just two or three players, and even Madrid didn't have their main center back, not main center back, but one of their big center backs in Militao and all. But that's what I was telling him as well, right? It was the key matchups that they were missing. It was Walker, because Walker was so important, because Walker was the so-called Vinicius stopper, right? And he was not there. And Ake was so good in that 4-0 demolition, and he was not there. Edison, of course, is their main goalkeeper. He was not there. And KDB, I mean, it's KDB. He was not there. So even though it's only two or three players, and you might and Madrid might say, "Oh, why are you giving so much importance to City? It's just two, three players that they're missing." It's the key matchup that they were missing, and they came out. And Foden, man, I mean, if he goes on to win the Champions League, he's my Ballon d'Or winner. Like, what a player! He's completely taken his game to the next level now. And then Guardiola with that stunner of a strike. And of course, coming back the other way, Valverde with that beautiful strike. He has that in his bag. He's a wonderful finisher. So just as a neutral, like, I'm watching this game, right? As a neutral, I'm just like, on the one hand, I'm like, what a game! Like, this is brilliant. On the other hand, I'm like, I hope tomorrow night is not the same. I don't want this to be happening tomorrow night, like, because this was on Tuesday, right? But
Yeah.
all in all, wonderful game. If I was Pep, I would be happy with that game. I managed to, I managed to rest slash recover my key players for the next week. Two, I'm going back home unbeaten with zero deficit, with zero consequence of, them conceding three goals or us this thing. So it's essentially the same thing as last time. And I'm going in with a fresh KDB against, a pretty tired Madrid who worked so hard throughout. They pressed so hard for 70-80 minutes, right? It's difficult to sustain that level of press for so long. And Madrid have a game at the weekend also, and of course City do also have a game, but City will be a slightly bit more rested than as compared to, at least their key players will be more rested. So all in all, wonderful game, one of those Champions League classics. But definitely, if I was Pep, I would be happy, and I would still give the edge to City, especially going back home with the result that they've had. And I think Madrid will, of course, you can never count out Madrid, but for sure, Madrid will have their work cut out when they in 6 days' time at the Etihad.
Right. So for both of us, actually, the Champions League nights were the complete opposite. For me, the first night involved freaking out a
Yeah,
lot, and second night involved me just relaxing and watching as a neutral fan. And
yeah.
for you, it was the exact opposite, right? So I was at my senior's place, another Arsenal fan sitting and watching the
Mm,
game. And to
mm,
my surprise, he just calls some random people over to watch the match with us. So in my
mm.
head, it's just me and another Arsenal fan who are going to be watching the entire Bayern game.
Right.
This is the same person I watched the Porto away game with. So we were legit,
Mm.
hands over each other during the penalties, and we were like, we're going
Yeah.
to do this, we're going to do this. So I'm coming into this game, I'm coming with that thought to his house, and I enter the house, and he's called some random people over who are
Mm.
like, let's watch the City Madrid game. And I just look at my scene, I'm like, it's not too late. I can still go back home and watch by
Yeah.
myself. And he's like, no, no, let them watch on the iPad. We are watching on the TV. So like, okay, we start watching the Arsenal Bayern game on TV, and every 2 minutes, the others are just screaming. They're like, "Oh my god, it's a goal!" and "Oh my god, another goal and another goal." You guys need to watch this. Stop watching this shit match. Watch this
Yeah.
match. This is what the main. This is where main action is.
Right.
Anyone can do that, but this is different. And so every 2-3 minutes, I'm also very anxious, right? Because every time I look off the screen, I'm like, oh, what if Bayern score? I'm
Yeah.
like that. Okay. But it was worth it because the kind of goals, oh my god, that Foden goal, the Valverde finish, God,
Unbelievable.
Foden's goal was unreal. That was top bins. That was finesse. Like on FIFA, you would dream to score this kind of goals.
Yeah. And even
That
the
was so
Guardiola strike, what a strike, Guardiola. What a strike. After he took that first touch, I was like, oh, this is gone, like the bad touch. The second, that was the perfect defender's finish, because the first touch was typical defenderish,
yeah,
absolutely shit. But he just chased it and put it right through. And I'm like, oh no, this is not going anywhere. Before blink of an eye, it's in the back of the net. So I'm like, what? Coming to this goal thing, right? The XG
yeah,
was Real Madrid 0.72 and City 0.88. So just on 1.5 XG, we saw 6 goals. That just goes to show how good the goals were. Because none of the goals should have been like goals according to the whole XG thing. So that just
correct.
go. I think not all five. I think out of 6, 5 goals were like this only. Probably that
Yeah,
one deflected Kamavinga shot would probably be like, okay, you can't really do much. but everything else were really, really good goals.
Exactly. So that match ending at 3-3 is just, like, okay, there's so much to look forward to in the second. Like, we get to watch one more Champions League final happen,
Yeah,
in Al
absolutely.
Etihad the next week. And I'm so pumped for that. But I'm so pissed because, that's the best game of the particular quarters, right? And that happens to be on the same night when Arsenal plays. So I
Right.
don't get to watch that game.
Yeah.
So that kind of sucks because I would
But
love to watch that match. But
yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure like every single one of us, right, is going to be watching both the games with like two devices. Probably, I would have had Madrid City and Atletico Dortmund on the same day,
probably.
because at least the fans of each team would be completely different. But because of the way Champions League has the TV rights set out, two same this thing cannot play on the same this thing. Some kind of home games cannot be played on the same day. So that was kind of sad. But yeah, for sure, both games would be amazing. I mean, coming to the other game also, like what a game, right? What do you have to say about that?
What a game. So for starters, I have a few points that I want to make here. Number one, okay, we started out well. It was nice having 60,000 Arsenal fans there. But I feel the fans, just like the players, the moment Bayern had the ball, they kind of like went quiet. So if you could even hear the chanting kind of reduced, everyone's enthusiasm kind of dropped up until Trossard scored another. But the first goal when Saka scored, it was great and we had the lead. And then there was this great chance for Ben White, which he just all he had to do
Yeah,
was get it in, but he shot it straight to Neuer. Had that gone in, the entire narrative of the game would change because you would be
again,
2-0 up.
typical defenders finish. Like he just belted it at
Exactly.
nowhere. Yeah,
Exactly. So we would have gone 2-0 up in 25 minutes, and then it would have just been any other Arsenal match where, okay, we could have probably, done a lot more with that. But when that didn't go in and the tide slowly started to change in Bayern's direction, and they did really well. They're even if they're having the worst season, right? They will turn up during the Champions
I
League.
mean,
And
it's
one
their
thing
history, it's the quality that they have. You can't really say much about.
exactly, and that's one
Yeah,
thing which Arsenal fans need to understand. See, even if you're playing an absolute shit Bayern team, they are still going to turn up in a Champions League knockout fixture. And no matter how good Arsenal
right,
are, they cannot assume or expect to be winning by a great margin against Bayern. They should
correct,
understand that they have made progress, but when you're playing Bayern, when you're playing seasoned winners, the odds may not be in your favor. So
right,
people
exactly.
going into this match were expected Arsenal to, destroy Bayern. And I'm like, where are you
Yeah,
all coming from? Like, where do you all get off? Like, why are you not okay? The fact that they're putting Arsenal and Bayern on the same page itself is a big thing for me.
right,
Okay,
right,
let alone talking about us destroying them. So
absolutely.
one point was after Arsenal scoring that first goal, White missing it, kind of like took things down a bit and switched. The tide kind of like changed. And Bayern did that really well. They started holding the ball a lot more and they tried to wear down Arsenal's enthusiasm. And with that, even the fans kind of like started getting quiet. And then they did exactly what any smart team would do. They realized Arsenal were playing with a high line. They tried playing a few through balls and Sane, Gnabry, and Harry Kane, all three of them are, come on, I would say that's one of the best trios in Europe.
Yeah,
That's actually a great try, and they've had a lot of success. Maybe
right,
not together. But usually they've all had a lot of success. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah,
yeah. So they just did the routine stuff. One through ball, and shoot goal.
yeah, they kept it simple. Yeah,
It's that simple. Go back to your basics. And Leroy Sané with his pace, I feel Sané had a beautiful game. I feel he was probably their best player apart from probably Kimmich. But Sané did so well. He cut there and Saliba, he just caught
yeah,
Saliba and a penalty down. Suddenly we are 2-1 and everything's over. Everyone's very upset. Everyone's crying about how Arsenal are done. It's over. And I was just praying we go into halftime. I was scared because they might score one more goal because I knew
yeah.
us weren't going to do anything.
It's always that one brings two kind of thing. Like you score one, suddenly the other one comes, and then just within 20 minutes you've crumbled and you're out of the tie.
Exactly, right?
Yeah,
But when we came out of that second half, I felt Arsenal, the players, unlike the Potter fixture, see some similarities were that they still don't know how to handle that pressure too well. But unlike the Porto game here, um, they tried to actively keep the ball with themselves because they were playing at Emirates. I feel like they tried to hold possession. They tried to dictate the direction of the game. And of course, when you bring on a player like Trossard, I feel Trossard is like our Jota. Like what Jota brings to Liverpool is what Trossard brings to
Yeah.
us. He's someone who's,
He's
I
been
think,
very, very clutch this season for Arsenal. Like he's come
very,
up with a
very clutch.
few
And you brought
very
this
good
on the group as
important
well. Yeah.
contributions.
And that is so true. Like you brought this up on our group as well, talking about
Yeah,
how he turns up in when we need him to.
yeah,
Unlike the other guys who perform, all the time, but when we need them to perform,
right, right, right.
they're down, right? Trossard just stepped up, and that's what he did. Jesus, he cut, made a beautiful pass, and Trossard, right place at the right time, scored that goal. That was brilliant. Brought the emotions back to 2-2, and I was happy. I would take a 2-2, given the fact that a lot of things happened in our favor. That
Right.
Gabriel
Yeah,
Magalhaes
I was
thing,
going to get there. Yeah, I was going to
very,
come there,
very, very stupid.
but I
And
was
a
going to
lot
leave
of
that one.
Arsenal fans might say differently. They might say, no, what are you saying? Even the ref thinks that it wasn't a foul. Why didn't the ref give it a foul? Who are you to say that? Come on, if that had happened with the other team, I would have gone ballistic. I would have been
Exactly.
extremely upset. That is not okay. The ref cannot tell the Bayern players that,
Yeah.
that's a mistake. What do you mean that's a
You know,
huge mistake?
this if it had been given, or even if it's not been given, right, this is the kind of error that goes into all YouTube compilations saying zero IQ, all those videos that have those zero IQ football moments, right? What
Yeah,
was he doing? Like it is not even a schoolboy error. Like even schoolboys know that you should, as a defender, you should not touch the ball in the box. But yeah, I mean, it was very weird to see that the especially the what do you call, the explanation that the referee gave the manager
exactly.
was kind of made it worse. If he had said, okay, I had not seen it, something, it would have been like, okay, fine, big high profile error. He's like, I saw it, but I didn't give it that. That doesn't make any sense to me.
That
But like
doesn't
you
make
said, if the shoe was on the other foot, Arsenal fans, or Arsenal for that matter, would be going crazy, right? Which is,
right.
it's one of those decisions where, if it goes away, you're just like, you're trying to shush it up. I remember the look on Raya's face. Okay, he passed the ball. Gabriel picks it up. Raya just looking at him like, "What are you doing? Like, stop it!" And then by the time before Harry Kane or someone started appealing, right, he immediately plopped the ball down. He played the pass and started the play. Because if like they had taken their time and looked guilty, no, it might have
Yeah.
been a different thing. But Raya knew it instantly. The moment he passed and he picked it up, no, Raya just looked at Gabriel like, "What are you doing, man? Like, this is not even something that, it's not even something that is taught. It's like you just know these things, right?" But yeah, for sure, this was one flashpoint, and the other flashpoint I wanted to ask you about was that so-called Saka penalty. What do you have to say about that?
Absolutely not a penalty. Okay, that's not a penalty. And I'm so glad that while watching the match, I tried not to get carried away by my emotions, and
Yeah,
that is one I'm so happy because even before this match started, I told myself, and this is for all Arsenal fans out there, I want them to understand that I agree. We want to win UCL, we want to win PL, and that's great. Okay, but what happens once we win those things? Then there's this whole pressure of having to maintain that, and from there things are just going to go downhill. So this is where we are at our top right now. So instead of constantly thinking about us getting better, just enjoy where we are right now. It's a privilege that the club that we've been following for so long is finally where we wanted, or where we knew they would be. So of course that graph is all we'll always want that graph to go up. And as a fan, you'll always want to do better and better and better. But when that's happening, I just don't want us to miss out on enjoying these moments,
right,
because it's a privilege to play Bayern in the quarterfinals. It's a privilege
right.
to host a team like Bayern at Emirates. It's a big thing. So I was just watching this match, I was just happy. I was like, forget about your nerves, relax, just enjoy this beautiful game of football. Because many people are saying this is a 50-50 match. So if that is a 50-50, if this is a 50-50 match, then all the more better for a fan. So just sit, relax, and watch this game. So I didn't get too excited when Saka scored the first goal. I got a little pissed because of the way we conceded the first goal. But I wasn't pissed because Sane, that was beautiful the way he won that penalty. And it's a typical,
Right.
it's not an Arsenal game if Harry Kane doesn't score. And that's what
Yeah,
happened here as well, right? And of course, when Trossard scored that 2-2, I was happy. But again, when Koman, hit the post there, that could have so easily gone in. He nutmegged, I think, our
yeah,
defender and player. It could have gone in, and it would have just, everyone just,
yeah.
kept quiet. But lucky, we got lucky there too. That's our second lucky point. Okay, one was a referee call, one just luck. Okay, and that Saka thing. So in an ideal world, an ideal story, Saka doesn't do that. Saka tries to shoot and the
Yeah,
ball
so
goes
I
in.
was wondering like why he was through on goal. All he had to do was just continue behind the ball and roll it into an empty net. I don't know why he felt the need to, go out of his way to try and win a penalty, because it didn't make any like sense at that point, right? And I'm just
Yeah,
like, okay, fine, you did it, it didn't work out, but don't so blatantly act like you deserved it and make such a furore of it, right? And
yeah,
if I was the player, I would be like, dude, why are you not just going behind the ball and rolling it to the empty net? You have done the hard bit. You have beaten the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper is out of the way. Like, you don't even need to go out of your way to stick that out. But you know, small decisions at the end of the day might come back to haunt you, might not. But that's just how it goes. Like if Arsenal win, Coman might be like, oh, what if that goal had gone in? And if Bayern win, all Arsenal fans would probably be like, dude, come on, Saka, you could have given us that lead right there instead of doing
yeah,
some sorcery, some trickery right there. But
exactly.
whatever it is, flawed game, but at the end of the day, it sets it up beautifully going into the Allianz Arena. What do you
Yeah.
think? How do you think Arsenal should, approach that game in the second leg?
So for starters, I think Kimmich got a yellow card, so he's out for the second leg. And I don't. There was one more player who got a yellow card. I'm not sure who it was, but I remember when I was watching the match, I was like, oh yes, one more player who won't be playing. Also, Gnabry is injured his hamstring, so Gnabry is out, and so is Alfonso Davis. So that leaves their starting left mid and left back out of the game.
Yeah.
But Bayern
And
have
their biggest player in Kimmich, probably.
exactly. But it's Bayern; they have
Yeah,
replacement. So if
yeah, of course.
Gnabry is
But
out, they're
at the
going to
end of
have
the day, Kimmich is Kimmich.
yeah, Kimmich is Kimmich. So look,
Yeah.
Kimmich not playing is going to make a big difference.
Yeah.
So uh, going to Allianz Arena, Bayern would be the favorites, but I am hoping for it could go either way, man. To be very honest with you, if
Yeah, of
before the
course.
first leg I said that the ratio is going to be like 65 to 35, Bayern 65, Arsenal 35, now I can probably say 50-50 because I feel we have a completely fit squad and I have a very strong feeling Tomiyasu might start left back next match over Kivior. And also because they might have to play Guerrero as their left back instead of Davies, and
Yeah.
they might have to replace Ganabri either with Musiala and then bring Muller as their number 10, or play Musiala as their number 10 and bring Coman. But they might have to change a little bit, is what I feel. Whereas we might be going with the same team
Yeah.
because our boys didn't pick up. The ones who were on yellow cards didn't pick up for the yellows.
Right.
So that
Right.
will be a very good match to watch. Again, it's a lot of pressure. I feel this match there'll be a lot of pressure for Arsenal fans, but I'm just going to take it as it comes. First leg didn't disappoint. I was happy with the 2-2 result. It's not like if
Yeah.
Arsenal, if that Saka goal had gone and I would have been celebrating, saying, "Yay, Arsenal are going there with a one goal advantage." I would have
Yeah.
probably reacted the same way because I don't think that one particular goal will make a difference.
Yeah,
Come,
because I still feel in Allianz Arena both teams will score. So that
okay,
one goal wasn't going to make a huge difference, especially since there's no home rule, away rule, all of those things. But at the same time, in the end of the day, now it's just going to come down to winner takes all kind of situation. So
yeah,
I mean, both the games will be superb. And
yeah,
there'll be a role reverse as well, because next week you're going to be busy on Wednesday. I mean, you're going to be tense on Wednesday, and I'm going to be tense on Tuesday. But at least
yeah,
I'll know my result going on Tuesday night, so I can just be like, okay, fine, maybe I'm playing this team or maybe I'm not.
yeah. And coming to that, coming to the second day of fixtures, right? The one where there were winners. I'm someone who hates Barcelona, okay? And as an Arsenal fan, I have reason to hate Barcelona, okay? And I personally also do not. I'm not a big fan of Barcelona.
Yeah,
And I was totally rooting for PSG in that match. And I was really hoping that PSG would do something great. But ex I was so impressed by the way Barca played. PSG didn't do anything in that first half. Okay. And I want to
yeah,
get your thoughts about the game. But before I do that, I just wanted to tell you about my experience
yeah,
because
yeah, sure.
this is probably the this I
Only
was
time you're
as
going to praise Barcelona.
exactly. So this is probably the only time, yeah. So Barca, their squad is a very, very, very young squad, man. So many teenagers. So there's not much of experience in that squad. And okay, PSG's team is a good team, yeah. And they have the likes of Mbappe, they have Dembele, they played Asensio, but Asensio might as well have not played because he was
Yeah,
non-existent. Mbappe wasn't let to play like himself, and full credit to the Barca backline. Um, the entire first half was only Barcelona, if you ask me. There was absolutely no glimpse of a PSG. That team could have been any Championship League team or a B team, that there wasn't much. But they did turn up in that second half and they scored two quick goals. And there again, I think Barca bounced back really well. And Rafinha was splendid. He was so good. Like, he, I think, with respect to his shots, with respect to the things he could have done, he was a solid 10 on 10. He did so well. And then that last goal, very typical, a corner and Christensen heading on his birthday, 20th birthday.
Yeah.
It was a perfect cherry on the cake. And all this happening in Parc de France, not even in Camp Nou, right? So, of course, that's a big win. And there, I personally feel coming back to Camp Nou, even though nothing has been decided, you guys still have that one goal advantage. And with
Yeah.
the home fans there, I feel you guys will definitely be able to take this tie. So I'm very
Yeah.
impressed with this Barca performance. That doesn't mean I'm going to root for them. I'm going to be rooting for PSG on that
Yeah.
particular night. But enough
I
from
wouldn't
me. I
have it
think
any other way, Avinash. I wouldn't have it any other way.
I know you wouldn't,
But
man.
going into that game, I was very, very tense because initially I was thinking that it would be the reversal of roles. I was thinking that Barcelona would have a good 15-20 minute period, and PSG would be the one who are dictating the tempo of things. And in the first 10 minutes, it was pretty much like how I expected it to be. PSG were kind of probing. We were just settling into our. We were just holding our shape. We were just settling in. But I feel the major thing that we got right was tactically, Xavi was superb yesterday. The way he set us up. Of course, I watch day in day out, so I wouldn't want to go into like the nook and cranny of exactly the changes that he made. But tactically, the way he doubled Mbappe, the way he completely took Dembele out, sorry, Asensio out of the game. I think they were absolutely superb in tactically and mentally also. It was such a good thing because the reason mentally they're so much better now is because this team, right, they don't have the baggage of those previous European losses to a certain extent as well. Like you said, the young team, these 16, 17, 18-year olds, they don't have any baggage and they don't have anything to prove because if a 16-year-old goes and loses to Mbappe, no one's going to blame him, right? Like he's 16, right? What do you expect him to do against Mbappe? No one's going to say anything. So they have like a completely clear head. They're going in with not that much baggage. Of course they're going in with that pressure of performing for Barcelona, and the moment you put on that shirt, the expectations obviously come with it. But the way they played yesterday, they were absolutely superb. They dictated the play. The midfield was superb in pressing their players. Vitinha and all the likes of them, they couldn't reach the box usually the way PSG do. Mbappe, I don't even have to say anything. He was completely non-existent. He was not. He was not even. He was a non-factor throughout the game, apart from that last one shot that he had. And after the first half, when we took that 1-0 lead, I knew like, see, the thing with Barca, and which I was telling on the group before also, right? Like when you asked me like what kind of game do you want, I'm like I want it to be a boring game. Barcelona do well when there is structure, when there is calm, when they are able to dictate the tempo. We are unbeatable when we are playing that way. We just need four passes at the end to score the goal. But the four passes is not important. We need to have that 20 pass continuity beforehand to play our game. So I knew those 10-15 minutes would definitely come where PSG are just hitting us left and right. And it was chaotic to say the least. And the moment it becomes chaos, Barcelona lose the structure that they play with, right? So the first goal, kind of a botched clearance, but that was just a good goal. You can't really say much about it. Like it's not like it was a tactical error or whatever. And then from then on, the next 10 minutes, we completely, lost our shape. Our midfielder stopped tracking back. Roberto was also very, very tired. And one more thing is, our most of our midfielders were coming back from injury. Roberto hasn't played in a long time. Frankie, this was his first game back in 2 months, and Pedri was not even able to start. So was Christensen. He was also not able to start. Gundogan has played 34 games this season already, and he's 32 years old, and he plays almost 85, 90 minutes in every game. So he was also getting tired. So that second goal came, can't do much, but our defense was absolutely superb. Koundé was superb, did an amazing job on Mbappe. Araujo and Kubarsi were absolutely stunning. The guy is 16 years old, man. I mean, you can say what you want, but when it comes to the team of we might debate, but 16-year-old guy, Champions League quarterfinal. We haven't reached the quarterfinal in 3 years. He's up against Mbappe. He's up against Dembele. He's putting his body on the line out there. I mean, he's not even grown to his full height, man. Come on, he's 16 years old. He was absolutely brilliant. So was Araujo. Araujo was a monster. Winning duels left and right, making clearances, making tackles, putting in the block shots in that, especially in that 20-minute period. And that's what the mentality, right? If this was 2 or 3 years ago, away from home in that atmosphere, we would have absolutely crumbled. Over away game 4-0, 3-0, 4-1, 5-1, finished. Game would have been over then. But we rode that tide superbly for those 20 minutes. And the way we came back, I mean, Pedri comes back from 1 month injury, and he puts a. I mean, what a ball that was! He absolutely lifts it over the defense like they're not there only. There was a non-existent defense, and Rafinha did justice to that ball with a beautiful, beautiful finish, proper finish. What a finish! Many players would have just like tried to belt one towards the goal, but he was calm in that situation. Even though PSG were in the ascendancy at that point, it's very easy to lose your mind and just like see the ball and belt it, right? But he didn't do that. He put in a good measured finish, and from then on we were back to controlling the game. Like we were exactly what we were doing well in the first half. And of course, one of the tactical changes, I won't go into too many of the tactical changes. One of the major tactical changes, we usually don't play those long corners into the 6 yard box, but we had done our homework. Donnarumma was horrible yesterday, absolutely horrendous. And this is how he is. Like, I saw PSG for 2 years because of Messi. Okay, people say Donnarumma is a great keeper. He's not. He's an absolute shit keeper. His handling and his handling is horrible, and his decision making is even worse. He comes out for balls he doesn't need to come out for. He doesn't come out for balls that he needs, like that are right in front of him, which is what happened. Even in the first half, we had that one corner where he came out, and it was cleared off the line by Mendes, and we knew that those deep corners will cause chaos, and that's exactly what happened. Christensen was completely unmarked. Dude, the guy is what, 6 and 6 feet, 6.5 feet, and you're letting your first of all your Zaire Emery is marking him. I mean, there's a huge difference in height already. Second of all, you let him be free, and the ball is in the 6 yard box. Usually, when a ball is in the 6 yard box, you expect the goalkeeper to come for it, right? It's a 6 yard box. That's
Yeah.
his very standing. He didn't come for it. It was the most simplest of finishes. But of course, the simple finish was because of the tactical changes that we made for that game. Because we usually play short corners. We're not a very set piece oriented team, right? We like to play with the ball. So I feel small things that he did superbly. I was very, very happy. Of course, going into the game, I would have been happy with a draw also, or even a single goal loss, like you said. I just wanted to stay in the game and bring it back because I knew the atmosphere would be very, very difficult in Paris. But the same thing, what you made a very good point about the atmosphere in Emirates, right? That's the thing. So Arsenal and PSG at the end of the day, right? These they haven't won it. They haven't won. They haven't won anything. So even if they are the superior team, when the moment the other teams get into the game a little, the fans do get to feel that nerves, like feel like, oh shit, now if what if Bayern come into their own? What if Barcelona come into their own? So the no matter what the atmosphere is, it kind of gets tones it down. This you would never find in some team like Madrid or whatever. In Madrid, they shut the roof off this time. They took special permission from UEFA. They told every single ultra to wear white, and they're like, you have to make this an crazy atmosphere, which is all the more reason why Pep would be so much happier that they got that result in that atmosphere because Madrid knew it. Madrid had to win this game, so they did everything possible to try and get that psychological advantage. And PSG also did the same. The first 5 minutes they had like wonderful tifos, and the ultras were chanting and everything. And usually the French ultras are very violent and very like they're known for their hooliganism and all of that. But within the first 10 minutes, the atmosphere toned down because they saw that, okay, Barcelona are here to play. They're not here to just get rolled over by Mbappe and co. And and we knew that when that happens, if I was happy with a draw or like a single goal loss, because in that atmosphere, in case they pick it up, it kind of gets difficult, especially for a team like us who has so much of history with away games in recent years, where we have completely fallen apart in crazy atmospheres in Rome and Liverpool and all of that. So, I mean, we were absolutely superb. 3-2 victory, if you had given it to me before the game, I would have been like, absolutely no problem. Give it to me. Let's go home, and I'll show you. I mean, we can play at home. And at home, I'm pretty sure we are going to give them a game. Again, what I'm worried about is that same, the 10, 15 minutes, 15, 20 minutes, which will come. That, no doubt about it, that 10, 15 minutes will come. But we just need to work out how to deal with that 10, 15 minutes better than we did. I don't want to be conceding 2 goals every time those 10, 15 minutes come around. But apart from that, I'm very, very optimistic for the second game. Of course, the kind of player Mbappe is, the kind of player Dembele is, you can't really keep them down for too long. But just 90 more minutes will do. So I'm just hoping that it just works that way. But the problem is the same, the yellow card problem. We have a huge problem with that. Christensen was booked. He would have started if he was not injured. So he's gone now. Roberto is not there. So our midfield is a little bit, undermanned. And the worst part is even in the second leg, 4 or 5 of them are on yellow cards, and it doesn't. I don't think it gets clean until the final. The slate gets cleaned until the final. So even in the second quarterfinal, we are going to have to be a little smart the way we deal with things. Because if we get 4 or 5 yellow cards, that would mean like half our first team missing for what I hope would be a semi-final, right? So it's going to be an interesting game for sure. Nothing is decided, but definitely, if you had given me that one goal, I would take it happily. And more than that, the performance was very, very encouraging. And I'm sure like we can do much better at home also, because we are going to create that atmosphere. We are all set to give Dembele the Figo treatment. So I mean, he's going to come there and he's going to face our wrath, because the rat celebrated, dude. When he
I
was
know.
injured last year, we actually wore his jerseys to come out for training, like as a tribute, because the guy is injured. And the first goal he scores in the Champions League, he scores against us. Okay, fine. Goal scoring is part of the game, but the way he celebrated, no, he is in for the Figo treatment for sure. He is lucky that there's an athletic track around around the pitch. Because if it was Camp Nou, no, it would be a completely different scenario. But having said that, definitely at home, it's going to be amazing. The atmosphere we are trying, I mean, that's what they're trying to create. But it's going to be an amazing game, and I'm sure if we at least play like 75 minutes of how we played over here, for sure we'll take the tie home. But again, long, long way to go, and it only takes 2 or 3 minutes to like completely turn. That Mbappe showed in that World Cup final also. So
Exactly.
I'm not. It's
Exactly.
not over till it's over, right? So let's
Yeah.
wait. Let's see. But for sure, encouraging 90 minutes to say the least.
For sure. And that's what they say, about these ties. It's a 180-minute game, not a 90-minute
Yeah,
game. So
absolutely.
you're half, it's in a sense, we're only at halftime at this point. We
Yeah,
have a whole other 90-minute segment to
long way to
watch.
go. Yeah.
But as a Barcelona fan, yes, I would be very optimistic. So yeah, I don't again I'm not happy that I'm saying this, but yeah, Barca. And also I think PSG would be a more difficult fixture than the winner of Atletico and Borussia. So even if
Yeah.
your players were to, let's say, a couple of them were to get yellow cards next week, I think
Right.
Barca would still be able to handle their semis opponent without a big problem.
Yeah.
And even this is what even you said when the ties came out, right? You
Right. Right.
said
Absolutely.
one step before we reach the finals. I mean,
Yeah.
nothing against Atletico or Borussia, but you would on any day you would have Barca defeating either of those
Yeah.
two teams.
So
So yeah,
looking at that game, right? Like I said in the first this thing, PSG is the main barrier for us, because I do not see us getting beat over 2 legs by Atletico. But the problem is the same thing. If the first leg is away from home and we are short 4 or 5 members, again we'll go in with that mentality of just surviving, which I don't want. But having said that, I would have wanted Dortmund to be our opponent, because I mean, with all due respect, they are the worst team there in the quarterfinals right now. And if they were to make the semis, I do not think there would be much of a problem, especially over 2 legs. Maybe in one game, maybe over 30 minutes, over 40 minutes, but over 180 minutes, I think we would definitely be able to beat them. Atletico, not so much, because of course they're Atletico, they have the winning pedigree, and we face them day in day out in La Liga, right? So they know us very well, we know them very well. So that might be more of a game, but for sure, I would want Dortmund to turn around that 2-1 result back at home. Just because for my selfish reasons, I would definitely want to play Dortmund, because Barcelona versus Dortmund in the Champions League semi-final would probably lead us to the final for sure.
Yeah. I'm sure neither of us watched that game, right? Because I was all eyes on PSG versus
Yeah, I mean
Barca.
the game was on. I was watching, but it
Yeah.
was not like it was there. Like the Arsenal
But
game, also I saw on my iPad. Right, the TV was the Madrid game, but at least
yeah.
I was like actively looking, watching the game on the iPad as well. But this game was going on, and uh, I wasn't really watching it. I think the game also played out that way only. I
Correct.
like we said, Atletico were absolutely dominant in the first half. They got their two goals. They sat back. They defended the same thing that Atletico do all the time.
Yeah.
They defended very well, and Dortmund, to their credit, they also played very well in the second half. I was watching the last like few minutes, little bit,
Yeah.
and they did play well, and they managed to get their goal. And actually, Brandt hit the post as well. So
Exactly. I
who
was
knows?
just going
Maybe
to
they
talk
could have
about
also taken a 2-2 draw home. But having
exactly.
said that, coming to those home atmospheres and all of those things. One goal deficit to Atletico, if you had given them before the game, I'm pretty sure they would have also said, "Yeah, okay, let's cut our losses and go back home and see what we can do." And at the Signal Iduna Park, they're definitely going to create a crazy atmosphere with the yellow wall and everything. So who knows? I mean, Atletico are not one of those teams to get intimidated. They have kept clean sheets away from home in much bigger fixtures than this, but you never know. It's the Champions League, right? One mistake, one shaky moment, the stadium's on you, the players just get on you, and you never know. So I'm hoping that Dortmund managed to turn that around there, but just looking at the game that happened yesterday, I don't think they have enough ammunition, enough firepower to, uh, especially one to restrict Madrid from scoring, Atletico from scoring, and to score themselves, right?
Right.
So I'm pretty sure Atletico will score one, maybe even two there. So it's just about how many Dortmund can score, and I do not think they can score two or three goals against the kind of defense that Atletico have. Because the moment Dortmund will start to attack, right? I know Simeone, he'll just shut up shop. He
Right.
starts every game first 5-10 minutes. He starts with that, okay, let me see if I can attack. But the moment the other team puts any pressure, no, he closes the shop. He's like, you know what? Let's go home, and that's work for them, right? They're capable of defending for 90 minutes. Aram se. They have no problem. They thrive on it. The dark arts, the fouls, the niggling fouls, and the what do you call time wasting techniques. They know all of it, right? They're perfectly equipped with all of that. So I mean, good game, but that is probably the least interesting game that I'm looking forward to out of the three. Not just because of the results, but also because the quality of teams that are there. I
Yeah.
don't think it's going to be an open end-to-end game where Atletico are trying, Dortmund are trying. But who knows? That could turn out to be a good game as well. And if it goes to extra time or something, and Dortmund pick up one goal, you never know, right? And all four games have the potential of extra time also this time. I mean,
Exactly.
every two-leg tie does, but usually when a game is already 2-0, 3-0, 4-0, you don't expect extra time. But in these games, anything could go into extra time as well. So all those things are also come into consideration. So I'm just waiting. Like already one day is done. Tomorrow, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, 5 days, and we're back to it. I just can't do it.
I know. Every day so all I do is listen to these podcasts, right, that talk about how Arsenal played and what they should do in the next
Right.
games and about the other teams as well, but it's more about Arsenal, yeah.
Yeah.
And every day it's just me thinking, okay, you know what if we do? What if we do it? What if we reach the semis? And I
Yeah.
start getting goosebumps and then I'm just like spiraling. So I just try to cut it at that. But
Yeah.
yeah, uh,
Yeah.
it's
It's
going to
going to
be
be
games of
amazing for sure.
narrow, close margins. And like you said, anything is possible. It can go to extra time. It can go to penalties. Maybe all four games could go to penalties, or
Yeah.
four games could just be done in 90 minutes. But
Yeah.
anything can actually happen, you know. And I couldn't say this about last year's quarters, but this year's
Exactly.
quarters, yeah, anything can actually happen, which is why it makes it a lot more up. Apart from the fact that our teams are playing, the whole fact that all these other games are also a very close matchup just makes it a lot more
I think
exciting and
the draw also made it a very much even ties. All of them. The two probably biggest teams are paired together. The
yeah.
second level of teams are paired together, and the
And then the
lower, so to speak, lower teams are paired together as well. So it's very evenly matched. Like I probably wouldn't be as excited for a City Dortmund game as I am for a City Madrid game. Not just because of the name, but also because of the quality that they're playing. Right. So it's like I think the fixtures first of all set it up beautifully, and the best part is they lived up to it on game days as well. So yeah, what no matter what the results are, it's definitely going to be another amazing 2 days. Hopefully, we are back here in 1 week's time and we are smiling and we are having the same reaction that we are having now. But you never know. You never know.
Yeah, but that would be amazing if
I
it
mean,
actually all falls into.
the scenarios that are going through my head already. I'm just wondering, like, how am I going to get any sleep on Monday or Tuesday? Because I'm already thinking, okay, in the second leg, this is what if this happens? What if that happens? We need to do this. And it's only Friday, right? I mean, it's only Thursday. So I'm just
Yeah,
like, oh my God, like, I need to, like, slow it down, like, no, stop thinking so much about it. And Instagram and X and all, they don't do a very good job of letting you forget it also. There's always some new post, something going on, some tactical analysis here, there, and you're just like, oh, fine, okay, you know what? Let me not think about it right now.
yeah. Talking about X and Instagram, guys, we've been doing this every episode, so we're doing it here
Yes.
as well. We're trying to put out content over there, guys. So please try to, stay tuned over there,
Yeah.
follow, subscribe. We have this nice series going on for all the cricket fans as well, where we're trying to draw parallels between IPL and Premier League.
Yeah.
And we're also coming up with our own predicted 11s for the matches that are taking place next week. I'm talking about the Champions League. So we would love to hear your input. We would love for you to get in touch with us to hear what you have to say for us, where you think we can do better, or what more kind of episodes you guys would like to see from us.
Absolutely.
um so yeah, guys, please do support, keep following us, share it amongst your friends. IPL season, Premier League, this champion, there's so much more action. We're going to be making a lot more episodes, trying to make episodes on NBA, on F1, and we're going to try doing a lot of diverse sports. So we would love your input to know where you all want us to focus on as well.
Yeah.
So please continue subscribing, following, sharing, liking,
Do
commenting.
engage with us and let us know. And like he said, it's only going to get better from here on in. So please do stick with us for the ride.
Yes, with that, I think we should wind up. Ashwin,
Yes.
again, I'm very excited, and I know you are too. But it's pretty late
Big-
here, and we both
Yes.
have a lot of sleep to catch up on, so let's not
Yeah.
hold each other
Absolutely.
up any further. All right. So, all the best. Looking forward to big, big things next week.
Yeah. Huge week up ahead.
Exactly. Thanks for
Yeah.
joining me. Thank you, guys. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.